Alright, guys. Let me know if you can hear me, first of all.
Sound check.
I think there's a delay. Trevor, they can hear us, yeah? Alright, well, this is Scott Page coming at you from ARG DFW. I'm here with Sam Pedigo.
Hello, everybody.
And we're getting ready. Round one, we had a little miscommunication. We unfortunately didn't have a feature match, but we're here now. We're ready.
Thank
and
you
we've
for the
got
patience.
Ben Leverett. Everybody knows Ben Leverett. And we've got Jack Belter. He's from my area. He's a really good friend of mine, so I'm excited. He's getting his feature. And he starts off. It's also Satellarknight versus Burning Abyss. And we got Jack starting off with the best start his deck can have. Rhoda for Deneb. Get everything going. Ooh, his hand's really good.
Monster and traps. That's the ideal, right?
That's the start. So Jack starts off probably with one of the best starts he has. I believe I saw an Alpha, Call the Haunted, and I think it's Dragon Souls is what it's called, or the Call the Haunted in defense mode. So I'm turning to Sam to see if he knows. It's nice to see two, relative children playing a children's card game.
Yep, there you go. Now Ben probably has some options here. Looks.
He's kind of hiding his hand from. Oh no, he's really hiding his hand from us.
Definitely thinking about what he can do. What's the best approach to take down this pretty intimidating startup here? So what's the matchup normally like? The current formation or the current incarnation of Burning Abyss versus Satellarknights?
Well, it's weird. When Satellarknights first came out, it was pretty hyped up. It got into a big deal, and then it just fell out of whack because Burning Abyss and Shadal just took over. And that went by. It was Shadal's Burning Abyss, and then Clifford came out. And then this card called Constellar Diamond came out. You can put it over your Satellarknight Exceeds, and it makes just this matchup at least way more bearable. Recently, it's been brought up back into the limelight. It's gotten, I think it had 3 tops at the past event, and the hype is real right now. So he activated Mass Change and discard. What did he discard? Anyway, it got barriered, or it got alpha'd. So he draws a card, and he's got his calls in his.
Somebody's calling you out here on the chat. They said that you said that Teller was the best deck ever.
Oh, I don't think I ever said that. But when this deck actually first came out, it was like the weekend it came out. I went to a regional. I topped the regional, and the deck was just really powerful because people really didn't know what it did. Because did it come out? I think it came out in the same set as Shadal's. So yeah, and all 3. Oh wow. So people had been testing, BA versus Shadal versus Shadal. Everybody, Shadal was hyped, and it was the best deck for a while. It was more like the dark horse, and it was, I liked it a lot. It fit my play style.
Yeah, I feel like it was definitely the easiest to pick up out of that group.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I wouldn't say brain dead, but it's not the hardest deck in the world to play. That's for sure.
Yeah, so that definitely probably gave it a leg up, during those early events.
Yeah, because of the early events, people were playing Shadal, but they weren't playing it perfectly.
Right. Yeah.
They were doing, what they thought was right, but in hindsight, you look at it months later and it's just totally different. So Jack gets Max Seed. It's one of the worst things to see when you activate Vega's effect. But he had Ukulele, so it's not the worst. So is that Kagna? So he sends the spell. So he is playing the spell. I personally like the spell a lot. Maybe not, more than 1 or 2. Drawing gets really bad, but this is really powerful. It's basically a tour guide from the underworld in your graveyard, if you have a Seer or a Graph. So we'll see what he does with it next turn. I'm sure he'll make the play a lot better than I would. 1200.
Plans forming.
The mass change too, hurt him big time. Jack's got more back rows, a lot of monsters, card advantages, no joke. See, the problem is you kill his monsters and they've got 6 monster reborns at your end phase. So keep everything going. The trick is just to get to the neb. That's the hard part. But when you do get to the neb and you get it rolling, it's a train that it's really hard to stop.
So I think we're looking at a Sir and an enemy controller and 1 more card in Ben's hand.
So he's got Sir, so it's going to make his spell live, which is super, super, super important right now.
Right.
At least to, mount a comeback.
Yeah, the enemy controller. I'm assuming they're.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming the enemy controller there is ideal for the other matchups, right? So probably there to help out in the mirror. What do you think he might be able to do with it in this particular matchup where he's looking at fours on the other side of the board?
Well, the big one is diamond. That's the big thing you want to enemy controller. Enemy controller, enables OTKs.
Right.
It has two effects, so it's a good card. When they make diamond, it gives him an opportunity to take the diamond and overlay with it, so he doesn't have to give it back. So it gets rid of the diamond, and also puts pressure on his opponent with the board. So he deals with the problem and just takes it. Like, it's one of the best cards to have. It's been used at 3 for a while, especially in Burning This. That was the card for a good while. Was enemy controller, which it still is. He's got a back row, so it's not really tour guide. It just depends what that back row is. Synchro. It's Virgil. I don't really see his plan. So he plays more spells and traps. Well, we know he plays Fire Lake, so he plays 2 spells. Okay, that's interesting. So he plays ritual spells, fusion spells. He plays a lot of, weird spells.
A lot of support.
In his, dark deck.
Yeah.
The diamond thing, why didn't he make diamond? I don't know. He probably didn't want his opponent to draw a card. He's also just got 3 big monsters. It's going to be, hard for his opponent to deal with.
Yeah, that was back when I was playing Burning Abyss, and the game has changed a bit since then.
Yeah.
But at the time, I know one of the issues was that there was just sort of, an attack barrier. They didn't have super strong monsters, and getting things going on the offensive side of the game was pretty difficult. So you might have complete control of the game. Actually, there were situations where I did have complete control of the game, but I just wasn't able to finish my opponent off quick enough. So then I would get into situations where my opponent was able to come back, or I ended up against the clock.
Well, fortunately for Burning Abyss decks, that has changed since you quit playing, which is how long ago? Was that National season, right after Nationals?
Yeah, I played a little bit back in October around the YCS down in Peru.
Oh yeah, Peru, I forgot you went to that. How was that?
That was a lot of fun, and I went with Robbie, and Robbie, of course, got 4th place. Did a good job. I know he wasn't quite satisfied with 4th, just how that goes, but lose out on the prize card.
No big deal, just a prize card.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he makes the push. He comes back. See, this is interesting because he's got a plethora of rank 4s he can make and just deal with the situation. Let's see what he decides to do. He's got a lot of options, actually. The most obvious one is going to be Castel to protect the guy, the Synchro, Virgil. But, we don't know the rest of his hand. He could have like another, I think he's got diamonds, or not diamonds, the souls. The guy that special summons one in defense mode face down, so. At least that's what I think I saw.
And we do know Ben has that econ set.
Right.
With the free fodder on board.
He's waiting for a response. See, he's got that enemy controller, so you could stop the Castel. And in-phase search his stack. Which might be the play he takes.
It looks like he's definitely thinking about it.
He's definitely thinking about it. Castel's no joke.
There we go.
Castel, so he's going to tribute the Scarm, take the Castel. Or just put it in his graveyard, either or.
Econ gets better and better.
Yeah. Econ apparently has 3 effects.
Quick play tribute to the Doom.
Summon Altair, Vanity's Emptiness. That's a problem. That is a serious problem. But see, he's just got a Virgil. Like that's his win condition right now. Virgil, Emptiness, which is insanely difficult for this deck to get around without Mystical Space Typing because the deck plays 3 Call, 3 of the other guy, Altairs, Vegas, all that stuff, and it's got defensive trap cards. Like he's got a Bottomless in his hand.
Yeah, and that's obviously not
Really,
going to
really,
do
really
anything.
bad in this matchup. Jack's thinking there's really not much he can do. Pretty sure he's going to set his back row just in his turn and get his Castell back. He's going to search for Scarm. See, the question is, like, what's he going to get with the Scarm? Because he's got the emptiness, like...
So what was the attack of the Stellarknight monster here on the board?
1700.
Okay, 17.
So the question is, like, the obvious one is Tour Guide, but, you know, he can't do anything with it for a while, and he really needs to put pressure on now, because if he draws it out to the emptiness, you know, it's gonna be curtains pretty quick.
Right. And unfortunately, none of his monsters are big enough to get over the Stellarknight,
Okay.
which of course would end up getting caught by the bottomless anyway, but Ben doesn't know that.
It's gonna be interesting what he draws, because he plays trap cards, so he can Rhoda his deck. He has a spell in his graveyard, right?
Yep.
The good and evil.
Second copy.
Second copy, when he looks at it, he's gonna do it. He's gonna search his deck. Pretty sure he's gonna banish, I guess, the Castell. Because it gets its materials away and there's more damage if he wants to do damage this turn. Okay, looks like I'm just terrible. He banishes the altar. I wonder why. It's also like gives him more level 4s to work with if he does get rid of the emptiness. The Castell with no materials wouldn't really do much. No, but if you banish it with the Farfa, yeah, it would come back. At least I'd assume it comes back from the materials. I don't know why it wouldn't. He's thinking now. Okay, I wish we knew what cards are in his hand. It looks like a Sparm. Okay, so he returns that back to the deck, which gives him another Castell for later, which I do not agree with. There could be something I'm missing, but I don't know why that's correct.
Yeah, it looks like some of the people here on the stream are speculating that he could just be nervous here. But,
Did they say Jack missed a draw off Alpha? Did he really miss a draw? Oh, Lord. It's no big deal. Just the best part of the effect. I guess the second best part of that effect, but... So is his in face searching for Scarm? Okay, so he searches Tour Guide now. He must have drawn Scarm for his turn. No, wait, did he search the Scarm? Yeah, he must have searched the Scarm, okay. So draw, defense. We've seen this one before. You just can't deal with emptiness. Like, ugh. Card is so good. Draw for his turn. Calcav for his turn, looks like. So he's got Calcav, Graph, Tour Guide. And emptiness is sticking. It's not good for Jack. I'm still trying to figure out why he got rid of the Castell. Does anybody in the chat have any idea why he would do that? That I'm just forgetting? I don't know if there is.
let's take a look.
There's just so many negatives. There's so many negatives to the positives. So he bounces the back row, got a read on it. The other one has been there the whole time, right? Yeah, that one's been there ever since turn 1. So he put back the bottomless. So I guess there's technically a mystery. He has more turns to read with that other card in his thing. I guess his read is it's to call. Ooh, that's such a good draw. Oh man, pow.
Once a game changer, always a game changer.
Exactly. And it just rears its ugly head. 17.
And to think he could have gotten to that card a turn sooner if he hadn't forgotten the draw. So we'll see if that extra.
He did shuffle his deck.
Okay.
So it was just the random number generator that gave him Smash Steal. So Upstart, his emptiness is gone now, so now he can make plays. That was a really good draw. Upstart was a really, really good draw.
Is it another enemy controller then?
It's enemy controller. He has Tour Guide. There's the Tour Guide. Now, here's another time where emptiness would be out of control. Libbit gives him opportunities. The graph also gives him opportunities to go get the Libbit later. He could have a graph in his hand also, so that changes things. Changes the route that he can take. If he has a graph in his hand, I don't think graph is the right play.
Well, he's thinking pretty hard on this one, and as he should, down to 1,800 life points.
Oh, I just saw the blue guy who uses Malakota in his deck. Now that is crazy. I'm glad I'm seeing this because this is interesting.
You said I wouldn't have to know that one.
I didn't. No. And this is a Patrick Hoban creation we all have to know, so maybe he knows something we don't. It's interesting, they made that card. I don't know why they would make that card if there wasn't, something that you could do with it. It would be a waste of a card. And the spell is good and all, but there just has to be something.
Right, so now that we've seen it in his deck.
Oh, I thought he was going to draw 3. Oh, he milled his last tour guy. That's big.
Hopefully sometime.
So he had a Libbit in his graveyard. Okay, cool. So he had a Libbit in his graveyard, so it gives him an opportunity to activate his graph in his hand. You could also just, he could take the guy, and discard. That's game. What was it called? A Haunted Face Down? For the guy. So Ben Leverett takes game 1. It was really back and forth game. They both had control. They could really seize. The snatch steal was big. All that good stuff. So we see Jack's side deck. We see Jack's side deck right now. He's fumbling a little bit, trying to figure out what he wants to do. We got XYZ Universe's Max C's. And XYZ Universe has been a big card recently.
So what are the odds that Ben still has something in his side deck for this particular matchup?
Oh, I'm sure he has to. People are playing Satellarknights too. Combat Burning Abyss.
Okay.
So on the top of his radar would be this matchup. At least top 2 or 3.
Okay. So what cards are we probably looking at here?
If he doesn't main deck Snatch Steal, probably sides it. Oh, I see XYZ Universe in his side deck too.
Fairy Winds in there.
Oh, that can't be XYZ Universe. So he have to side. I see Max C's. Max C's a really good card, but he main deck Max C, did he not? He Max C the Vega?
Yeah, but we can't be sure how many copies he had.
True. I just assumed 3.
Is he putting in the Fairy Winds? And Geometry.
Oh, Geometry, interesting. So the Fairy Winds, outs the call.
Right.
Also, you could side Shadow Mirror and out Shadow Mirror. Jack had Soul Treasure in his hand too, so if he had one more turn, it would have been.
Yeah.
It would have been an interesting comeback. Jack could have had one more card if he just, drew off the trap card, the barrier.
Yeah, it does happen though sometimes.
Yeah, but you use cards for certain reasons. And the big reason you use that card is because you get to draw. Remember when I activated that card, I was like, yes, I negate their thing, and then I was like, oh yes, I'm about to draw. It's my favorite thing to do in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is to draw a card. But Nerves again, this is his first feature,
As the Scott Page watching his duel here.
Actually, my name on Dueling Network is actually ARG Jack Belter. So he is the namesake of my account.
The pressure is on for Jack.
That's probably why I misplay so much on the end. Just his name carries. No, he knows I'm just messing around.
So I'm hoping we end up getting to see that Ritual Monster come out.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Unless he side decked it out.
He might side it out. It might be bad in this matchup. I just don't know. To be honest, I don't even know what that effect is. So if it comes out, it could do something, insane. It's called Malakota of the Burning Abyss or something like that. Yeah, I know when it dies, it takes a card with it. Or banishes it or something.
Right. The Netherlord.
And you can ritual summon this card with Good and Evil. I'm not going to read it out loud. I guess people know what it is. For people like me that don't know, I'm going to go ahead and post it in the chat so you guys can see.
universe.
So
And a
his
Raigeki and a
hand
Max
is
C.
so good. All right, so he's got Max C, which is obviously amazing, but it's a contradiction because he's got Max C and the trap card. I guess it's not good now, but like he can just hold that trap for 4 or 5 turns, and when he does activate it, it'll be insane. He's also got Altair already, and he's got yeah, that's his hand Raigeki. So did he set the trap already?
I believe so.
Don't know if that was right.
So it'll be interesting to see how Ben plays here because
Just
Jack
go
has
for
a
it.
number of cards.
I mean, it wouldn't have mattered in the long run, but like you could draw another trap card on your turn. So you could set 2, and like at the end phase of the space, okay, there's one.
Reduce it to a 50-50 here.
Right. You give yourself an opportunity to win, or an opportunity to improve where you are.
Oh, Snatch Steel.
Well, what do you know? Raigeki and Snatch Steel. What year is this?
It's
2015.
2015.
Interesting. Interesting. 2004. Yeah, it feels like 2004 series. Oh, that card came in hot. That would be pretty insane if it came back in attack mode. That would actually just be, that would be a huge change if that card came back in attack.
It's pretty funny, right? When we were watching those Dueling Network games earlier this week, it seemed like we kept seeing Snatch Steel every game.
Yeah. Oh, it was actually insane. Like we watched like probably 5 or 6 games in a row. Every game Snatch Steel was played.
Trend continues.
So we're 2 for 2, right?
Yep, 2 for 2.
2 for 2. Awesome. So he attacks for max damage because he couldn't attack. He could also have, done a couple other things, but I don't know if that would be correct. So this is where Diamond comes again. Trevere. So this is interesting. Like, see, he didn't set any back rows, so that should tell him he's got a lot of monsters in his hand. Like he could use Trevere's effect.
Now, what's
There's
the
so many bad things that can happen. But I mean, it's hard to say whether he should use the effect or not. We're gonna have to see if he doesn't. We'll see how it works out.
Do you know what the trap in his hand is? It looks like it might be a Chain Whirlwind.
No, it's the special summon in defense. It's called the Haunted in defense.
Okay.
I wish I knew its name. Oasis, yeah. Oasis of. I want to say Oasis of something. So he didn't use the effect, which is that's okay. I think either or is okay. Pull that card. Pull Diamond out. Constellar Diamond. So reveals graph. See how Jack responds. So he uses the effect. It's hard to say. He's got so many cards in his hand. So he just sets a card. Oh lord. The card is that real. Trying to figure out what he can do. So Oasis. Now where are we? Are we at his draw phase? Or are we on Jack's turn? I'd assume we are because I'm pretty sure I saw Space Typhoon and Leverett's hand. So Jack waited to activate that card, which is the right play. So that the one problem about this deck, about the Satellarknight deck, sorry, is it was a Benzene phase because he drew a card. He drew Max C. Yeah, but I think he just drew one for his turn. But like I was saying, like the one problem this deck has, see, I don't know, outside of Raigeki or Darkle, I don't know how he's gonna deal.
Yeah, it looks like it's getting pretty real for Ben.
So that's 17. Like I was saying, so he sent the Vega to his graveyard and he searched Ukulele, which tells you like this deck is insanely easy to read. That's like one of the few drawbacks. But even if you do read Altair and you don't have an out to it, you can. It's kind of like all these cards you can read, but yeah, what are you gonna do about it? Like, oh, he has disc in his hand. Oh, what are you gonna do about it? Like it's coming down. So Ben's thinking, I just don't see what he can really do. Like if you stop their one special summon. Tour Guide, I guess, is like the real out. What's happening? I think there's like you can't special. Oh, Traverse effect. Like you can only special summon something or other. I don't know. I could be wrong. Anyway, the Vega's not in his graveyard basically.
All right. So what might be Ben's counter here?
A spell by the name of Raigeki, Dark Hole, Book of Moon, just an out to the card.
But it doesn't look like he has any of those.
Looks like Brown Town.
Ooh.
Brown Town, also known as, I love this, Timid Town.
So this probably should be game, huh?
Probably, yeah. Is that right? So,
55.
is that, but now he can only attack with Altera. That's Altera's effect. If you use this effect, you can only attack.
You can only attack with Satellarknight.
Right. So that would be, so if he just summoned Altera, activated Raigeki, and Chain Dweller, and attack for game.
Right, so
It's just giving him more turns, which is
Scarecrow does see play now, but that probably would have been taken out against Stellar Knights, maybe?
he can't attack. Hey, let him know he can't attack.
It's a Stellar.
Huh? It is?
Stellar Knight Diamond.
Oh, Constellar Knight?
Stellar and a Stellar Knight.
Oh, that is awesome. I did not know that. So this card just gets better and better.
So bad. It's crazy.
So, Mystical Space Typhoon. Card is not the best against Burning Abyss.
Did he attack
There's
with
the
Altera?
Fairy Wind.
Yeah, 17 direct.
I don't think the Fairy Wind is going to help him too much at this stage.
No, he needs, like I said, he needs green cards. Any powerful spell.
Oh,
And
scooping it
that'll
up.
do it, yeah.
Alright.
So Jack comes back, wins game 2, gets the train going again, but this time actually, finishes the job.
So any anticipation on what Ben's going to choose in terms of going first or second and going into game 3 here?
That's a good question. I think going second is really powerful, but you don't want him going first. You don't want Jack going first and summoning his guy, setting his back rows.
Right, yeah.
So it's in essence, it's an anti-meta deck. Not anti-meta, but it's got the tendencies of an anti-meta deck. Summon a monster, set your back rows. And, Ben plays trap cards, so he can go first and deal. He can deal with what his opponent's doing instead of, his opponent having free reign outside of, I'm not going to say Maxi, because Maxi's, terrible. Turn 1. But, see, if I had to guess, I've been wrong today once. I've guessed on one thing and I've been wrong on it. So let's see if I can go 1 for 2, 50%. I would guess he's going to go first. We will see. Let's see how dumb I look again.
Alright, so you know Jack pretty well, huh?
I do,
so
yeah.
What's going through his head right now, going into
he
game
probably
3
just wants
on
to go
this feature?
shopping. He loves to shop. He just swears up and down he's got swag, which he does. I'll give it to him. I mean, Jack has a lot of promise, but like right now he knows it himself. He's not where he wants to be, so he's been working really hard at it. Only time will tell. Oh, snatch steal, crazy.
Man,
So
three
Ben,
for three for
I was
Jack.
right. All right, 1 for 2. So Ben decided to go first. Wait, did I say he's gonna go first? Yeah, I said he's gonna go first.
Alright, and there's the Fairy Wind again. And
Sigur's Fairy Wind.
he did go first, so he'll be able to set that one up.
Which
Won't
is
be-
okay turn 1. Like it's obviously a good card to have, but at the same time, it's good later. But he has to set it turn 1 because So summon special. He normal limit or did he special limit? Well, I guess we're about to find out unless it attaches the rubric. It does attach to the rubric, so he must have special it. That's a terrible mill. For 2 space typhoons and a typhoon. So back row, yeah. Jack takes a second look to make sure my back rows are safe.
Now he won't be expecting the fairy.
True. Now the fairy wind.
there you
Gosh,
go.
dang, that's a lot of spell and trap removal. So I guess in this matchup he just doesn't really care about the monsters. He just cares about the back row. But
Okay,
Jack
so
starts
Jack's
with a magical card.
one monster, but might be all he needs.
Summon. Jack's hand is so good. Again, let's see what happens now.
One monster to get 2 monsters.
So Jack has call. XYZ, XYZ Universe could come out hot.
Double called haunted XVZ universe.
Jeez Louise. Talk about a bad start for Jack. Upstart again. So Jack's at 10,000, so that gives him even more turns. So like I was saying, he puts Jack at 10,000. Jack's at 10,000. So Jack's at 10,000. So Ben Leverett's hand is, obviously behind. He's behind in the game right now. And not only that, he's, behind in life points too, which is a pretty big deal, especially to do 10,000 against, a deck that plays a lot of back row.
Okay, and so are Stellarknights still prone to using Dimensional Prison?
Some play it. It just depends.
Okay,
I know Jack does not. And even if he did, I would probably side it out in this matchup. It's just not that great. It's really good against Clifford. It's just not that great against any other deck.
Right. So
it's a good against Shell too.
Do you think it's going through Ben's mind though? Do you think
it's definitely it's definitely somewhere up there. I don't know where it is on his list. You know what I mean?
Right.
Can you understand what I'm saying?
Don't know what the threat level is in his mind.
And also Ben knows XYZ Universe is everywhere. That's probably why he made a rubric instead of because that would just blow him out straight up. So he's gonna push for damage here. He hasn't used Rubik, so you can have multiple cards. Yep, there's one of them. So banish. That's interesting. Okay, I see what he's doing. So he's trying to do as much damage as possible to maybe this. I think we're looking at his win condition right now.
Well,
Are the
not only that,
and damage.
Not only that, but he took away the monsters.
Right,
now those two called haunted.
It cuts off both of his calls.
Draft 15 or
Draft 15. No. Draft's 1,000. Draft's 1,000. Sorry. I think it's 15 defense.
This makes it look like there's a fire lake also.
True. That's true. He could easily set the fire lake without targets for it. So no Scarm. I haven't seen a Scarm in a while, actually. Passes his turn, Jack draws. Where's the Deneb?
How's the Rhoda?
Oh, he didn't banish it with Farf. I see. I saw Farf. Oh, that was bigger than I thought it was then. That's huge.
Yep. Yeah, those
Oh, he drew Rhoda, though. Okay.
Call the Haunteds might not be resolving anytime soon.
Got Rhoda, so he could search Ukulele, summon Ukulele. I think the best play is summon Ukulele. So he's going to get Ukulele. So he's got Call, so it's funny, he's got, Call, and Oasis. So, those Fairy Winds are going to be good, but they're, he's going to lose out to these good cards. This is the Neb. So it's going to be interesting what he's going to do. I'm pretty sure he's going to call first. I don't see why he wouldn't. He wants to save that Snatch Steal, which is really important. Here's one of the things. Probably Oasis first. Alright, maybe not.
Alright, so let's see if he's going to activate. Yep.
He's definitely going to activate Fairy Wind. He can't deal with the Ring 4 right now. So they both take 3. This is going to be really funny. He's going to activate another one. Then he's going to Fairy Wind again. Then he's going to activate the third call. And then he's going to activate Snatch Steal. There's the Oasis. I think that one should have been first. That one definitely should have been first. So that's going to die. Chain resolves. We're all good. 300 again to each. So it's 34 to 77. And then Jack's going to activate his third call that I think he has. Okay, I'll slash. Oh, he just took it. He didn't even ask. That is disrespectful right there. He just took it. That's funny to me.
It is Snatch Steal.
That's true. He just snatched it right up. Response? Yeah, don't worry about that. That's mine. What does the opponent have 3 back? What's he going to do? Yeah, that's still mine. You can't respond to this turn.
You got.
So, if Jack does have another call, he could just, make Dweller, or he can't get over that 2,500. But he's got the XYZ Universe, so if he does make a push, passed? I could have made a more powerful play, that's for sure. Really trying to do.
Well, so he could make the one to go ahead and bounce the graph, right?
Right.
And then he could XC's universe away the Dante.
There's got to be two. There's got to be two. Two exceeds.
Right. So if he makes the
True.
XC's to bounce.
Yep. So he can make his own guy. Yeah, but that's if he has the call. I'm still not sure if he has the call. Did you see two call for sure?
I thought there were two,
Okay.
but we might be wrong if he went ahead and pushed forward with the snatch steal.
See, this is also not bad because the only chance that he has, to really fight is to, make another exceed. So he could draw any monster in his deck, and that would give him, a choice to exceed with getting his graphs effect in the process. But I'm sure Ben knows absolutely 100%. Not only that he could play that card, but that he probably has to face down the way the game has been going. There's only a certain number of trap cards he can have, and being call would be one of my reads. But if that were the case, I myself would have called during my turn. Made a big push to have Ben have 0 cards. In case he attacks, he's gonna get something back. So he's going out of his way, I think, to only have 1 exceed on the board for what he can. So he gained. Did you get the 1,000?
That's one explanation.
The Dante attack then?
But he got Livick, so he's got another third. Oh, that was such a good draw.
Yeah.
He gets his snatch steal. He gets his guy back. Oh, the third one, and he milled 2 space, milled a typhoon. Oh Lord. And here, so he milled Cagna. So this is interesting.
All right. The tides are turning.
The tides are turning. I feel like they had turned, but he's got Altair in his hand. It's interesting where this game. If Ben gets a couple more turns, gets some good draws, there's a strong chance he can, win the game. But on the same side, on the other side of the coin, Jack's gonna draw cards too. So, and the first thing that should enter Jack's head is that Fire Lake. What can I do to stop that? Now that is an okay draw. So summon.
Hey, Clayso.
So Jack is just building his army right now. That's Jack's goal. Jack can make diamond here. Jack can make a rank 4 exceed if he just can't attack. So.
And just to go back to what we were looking at when Ben was siding, we saw that Ojama trio. Well, this is that situation.
Yep.
Might have been nice to have. Of course, you prefer a more complicated game state.
What's Ben's face down?
Ben's face down is
Fairy
the
Winds.
third fairy one. So there's Trevere. Gonna pop everything back. I like this. Sitting back and seeing this, I like this a lot. This is, if not his best play, one of the best plays he can make for sure. The only problem is Jack doesn't have much defense. He's got the max C, which is good and all. But the traps, I don't think, are all that. And Jack's at 34, so he's kind of high. And he's going to have to deal with the diamond, so. But Ben's thinking. I guess he's thinking if he wants to fairy when the snatch seal so he doesn't have it for later. I guess that's what he's thinking right now. He can also just be, bluffing. Chain. So he kills the snatch steal, so he's got the third one. Which isn't the worst thing in the world. It's not the best thing in the world for Ben, and it's not the worst thing in the world for Jack. It just kind of stops the bleeding. He's got double universe. Okay, so it wasn't called behind us, so it's starting to make more sense. So now Ben. So where'd it go? Where'd the Trevere go? Oh, he had a thing under it? Okay, well then I don't like this play at all. Period. At all.
Players, that's time of the round.
It's time of the round for the main event, not the
Please go to
feature, or not,
procedures. If you have
the
any
feature match.
questions,
That's
please
not
raise your hand and yell for a judge.
And it's comeback time. What is Trevere's attack? Do you know Trevere's attack? Is it 21? That's so low. I do not like this play by Jack. So, I find it very, very unlikely that Ben is going to play into a XYZ universe.
Yeah, so we are looking at 21, by the way.
21 attack. That's so low.
All right,
Is
so
this
what are his
the Nev
options
going?
here?
Oh, he has the Nev. Yeah, he can leave it. So now Ben is just thinking. He's going to use the green, the good and evil. It's just, I'm pretty sure he's thinking, what does he want to end with? And in serious thought, he got 2 back rows, and one real back row could spell the end of the game for him. That's for sure. Did he discard the Seer? Do we know he discarded the Seer? Time is also an option. Jack needs to tell him to hurry up and make his play. Because he knows he's ahead, he knows time's about to be called, and he's playing really slow. That's the telltale sign. He still has the glue guy in his deck, Malakota.
Will we actually see it?
The good news is, if he is stalling for time, Max C is a really, really good card for Jack to have. Yeah, they're in time, Jack's asking. So now I guess his thinking is Max C is going to be really big right here. Unless he dies. If Jack dies, then it's not looking so good. So next seed him, your card. So Jack's at 34. So you can special, that'd be 25.
All right, so talk us through what you're thinking about with Ben's options here.
Well, he could special he could special the rubric and make Virgil. And Virgil away a back row or Trevere. It's Jack's an honest. Okay. Interesting. He's just in a really tough spot. He can make, Dante, but Dante doesn't really get him much unless he wants to, get lucky at Milligraph because he already has Seer. I guess Libic would be a good move. So much is good. A lot's going through Ben's head. XYZ Universe, I'm sure Honest is going through his head. I mean, I say that now that Jack drew it and I see it. It's a lot different when you're in the game.
Right.
And you know exactly where you stand. Or
So
at least
many
you
other
think
things
you
going
know.
through your
Right,
mind, too.
Right. And you can't explain it. And especially times like this where you're like, this is really hard. I'm not trying to win. I'm trying to, put myself in the best situation to survive. So normal. The way he's picking up his cards makes him look so weak. No, I don't mean it like that. I just mean it like he's accepted his fate. So he draws another card. I think he has to put the monster back. How did that come out? He had a graph? Oh, that's game.
If he has a burn this card, man.
He does, it's a scarf. I had no idea that was a
Could be.
graph.
We'll have to see what the.
Oh, it's game.
Oh yeah, that was huge. That was huge. They gave me
I don't think we know what the other back row is, right?
It's
Wait,
two,
there's-
it's
there
two
it is.
XYZ Universe, there it is. Jack, I feel like Jack could have done a lot of things different to win that match.
and I didn't take
Just a series of, I guess they're misplays. They're not the optimal play, in my opinion, is a misplay. Jack made some, I guess, questionable plays, but then Leverett moves on 2-0 with his bringing of this deck with, mass change, all that crazy stuff. So
Quite the teched out deck.
right, very teched out, especially for a deck that's been set in stone for so long. Maybe Patrick did top that YCS with Malakota in his deck.